Hiya and welcome back to the Teen Whisperer. Today we're diving into something that affects so many of our teen girls today, stress and anxiety. Specifically, we're going to look at what's really going on in their minds and their bodies when stress hits and how their online lives are adding even more pressure. So whether you're a teen girl, a mum or a teacher, welcome. This episode is for you. We'll be talking about the common stresses that teen girls are dealing with, why understanding their female physiology is critical, and how we can all help them manage stress in healthier ways. So first, let's talk about what's causing all this stress. Being a teen girl in today's world is incredibly tough. They're dealing with academic pressure, they're dealing with friendships, they're dealing with family expectations, and they're dealing with body image issues. But on top of all of that, there's this whole other layer that we didn't even have to deal with: social media. It's like they can never switch off. They're constantly connected 24/7, constantly comparing themselves to everyone else out there, and that's taken a massive toll on their mental and emotional health, as well as their physical health. So what are the most common stresses? So schoolwork and academic pressure, the constant drive to succeed, perfectionism, meeting deadlines and be perfect is overwhelming. Social media and online presence. This is huge. Social media adds that whole other extra layer of comparison. Who's got the most likes? Who's living the perfect life? And what image they're projecting online. It's exhausting. Number 3 is body image and societal pressures. Society bombards girls with those unrealistic standards of beauty and what we should be able to do in a day. And social media just magnifies it. And on top of that, you've got family and peer expectations. So our teen girls feel the need to please everyone, to protect them, whether it's making their parents proud, fitting in with friends, or just trying not to stand out in a way that might invite, those criticisms, those putting down comments, those, what are you wearing kind of stuff. And then on top of that, if that's not bad enough, there's the female brain, which is wired completely differently from a male brain, especially when it comes to stress. Little known fact, that one. So teen girls, because of their hormones and their brain development, experience stress completely differently. And it's crucial even, we understand this. So in a girl's brain, the amygdala, the part that processes fear and stress, is more active and more sensitive than in boys. This means that when your daughter experiences that stress, whether from school, whether from friendships or online pressures, her brain lights up like a fire alarm. And that's why she seems more reactive or emotional when things get tough. When a stress bucket is full, so 99% full, anything that goes over the top is having her that alarm going off constantly. Just imagine it. If you're sitting there listening to a car alarm going on, or a house alarm, or even a fire alarm going off, and you can hear that constant wailing, just remember how it makes you feel. Now put that in the space of our teen girls. That alarm is going off 24/7. And no wonder they're struggling with stress and anxiety. And this is why she feels more reactive or more emotional when things get tough. And here's something else. The prefrontal cortex, as you know, I talk about it a lot. The part of the brain that's responsible for decision making, controlling emotions, risk assessing, is still developing in our teen girls. It doesn't come online until their mid-20s. So it means it's harder for girls to calm down once that alarm has gone off. It's like trying to stop a runaway train. That's why when stress builds, it often spirals into anxiety. And this is where understanding her physiology is so important. So when she's stressed, her brain releases cortisol and adrenaline, the classic fight or flight hormones. These chemicals are meant to help her cope with that immediate danger, that saber-toothed tiger that's right in front of you. But in the modern world, they're being triggered by things like a difficult exam, peer pressure, a mean comment, social media, or not getting enough likes on a post. And because their brain is still developing, these stress hormones stay in her system longer. They can make her feel anxious, edgy, comparing herself or dealing and completely exhausted. The more time she spends online, comparing herself or dealing with negativity, the more her brain stays in this heightened sense of alarm mode. It's a vicious cycle. And let's not forget, so if that wasn't bad enough, how social media creates this constant fear of missing out. That FOMO. She's seen everyone else's highlight reels, the filtered, perfected moments that actually don't reflect real life. But to her, it looks like everyone else is doing better, looking better, living better, feeling better than she is. And that comparison alone can be enough to trigger extra stress and anxiety. So now can you see why she's struggling so much and why us as mums are struggling to help them to manage these emotions? So what happens when they don't have the tools to manage this stress? Well, it often leads to that anxiety, the racing thoughts, the tightness in their chest, trouble sleeping, or even panic attacks. And remember, anxiety is not just in the mind, as we're told over and over and over. It's a full body experience. Your daughter might have stomach aches, headaches, or feel out of control emotionally. Her body's reacting to all that pent up cortisol and adrenaline, and it needs a way to release that tension. So here is where it gets really important, understanding what she needs to manage that stress, and you of that matter, because it's not just about telling her to calm down, take a breath, or take it easy. We need to work with her physiology to help her feel grounded. So here are some tools that will help her. So breath work. When she's feeling stressed, her body, as we've already said about, is stuck in fight or flight mode. Deep breathing helps shift her back into a calm, rested state by taking her out of that fight or flight, by slowing down her heart rate and telling her brain that she's safe. Movement. Physical activity helps burn off that extra cortisol and adrenaline, whether it's a run, whether it's a dance class, whether it's climbing, whether it's cycling, or even just a plain walk in nature. Getting her body moving helps her to release that built up stress. Number 3 is sleep and nutrition. Our girls need loads of sleep, more than any other time in their life, bar when they were a newborn. And a lack of it only amplifies that stress and anxiety in our system. Proper nutrition is also key, as certain foods can either calm her system or make her more irritable. Making sure she's eating balanced meals and getting enough rest is crucial for her brain and body to cope with that stress. And the last one is mindfulness. Techniques like meditation, journaling, brain dumping, or even creative activities can help her process those emotions in a healthy way. Mindfulness helps her to stay in this moment, to stay present, rather than getting caught up in, the what ifs of anxiety, as our brains can take us off on that. There's this little trigger and our brains are taking us off way in that distance. It will go from 0 to 100 in 2 milliseconds, the time. And lastly, boundaries with social media, with herself and with social media. This one's tricky, but essential. Teaching her to step back from that online world, to recognise when scrolling is making her feel worse, and to set time limits can be life-changing. Social media can be toxic, but by helping her set those boundaries, we're helping her take back control of her mental health. But here's the key. It's not just about knowing these tools. It's about listening to her individual needs. Each girl is different. What calms one might not work for another, and that's okay. Doesn't mean there's something wrong. It's about teaching her to tune into what she needs in those moments of stress. Maybe she needs to move, or maybe she needs to rest. Maybe social media isn't helping and she needs a break from it. It's about learning to understand her unique rhythms and her energy. And mums, this is where you come in too. By being attuned to her cues and yours, you can help her find the strategies that work for her. We need to stop using a one-size-fits-all solution, as I talked about last week, when it comes to managing that stress. Each teen girl's brain and body work differently, and that's something to be embraced, not ignored. So whether your daughter is feeling overwhelmed by school, friendships, or her online life, I want you to know there's a way to help her manage it. It starts with understanding that stress and anxiety are not enemies. They're signals. They're not something to brush under the carpet and just hide. They're something to process. They're signals that her brain and body are out of balance and need attention. And with the right support, she can learn to manage that stress, build resilience, and grow into the confident, self-assured young woman she's meant to be. So if your daughter could benefit from learning these tools in a fun, supportive group setting, check out my new Glow groups. It's a space where girls can come together, bond with other teen girls, obviously, and learn about how their physiology impacts their stress and emotions. If you want to know more, connect with me with the word GLOW and I'll send you the details. All my information, connection details are below. These groups are available both in person and online. So that's it. That's it for today's episode. If you found this helpful, share it with someone who might need it. And if you're looking for more support to support your daughter, more ways to support your daughter, check out the Mum Survival Guide available via my website, packed with resources to help you and your daughter to thrive together. So until next time, stay connected and remember, stress doesn't have to control your lives.